Hi, sorry for being late getting into this, and I had a little trouble finding the link. Thanks everybody for joining. Alex, hi, thanks for joining us. Let's call the meeting to order. Patrick, you got it at 7:0. It's covered. 7:0. What time? Whatever time it is. 7:06. 5. Let's start with public comments. If I can find this thing.
Just for attendance purposes, the blue wave.
Oh, that would be me.
Oh, you're double dinged.
Yeah, it went through my Google account.
Well, I like the name. Pretty nice.
Okay, yeah. Don't read too much into it. Could mean anything.
All right. Any public comments? Okay. Moving right along. Approval of meeting minutes. So we've got January of 2025. It's hard to believe it's already midway through February.
I believe we also need to approve December's as well.
Do we have December's as well? Okay, December, and let's do December first.
Move to approve December and January.
Awesome. Second.
Is anyone not a 5? Okay.
All right. Sarah, are you ready with the executive report?
You sure bet I am. Hold on. Share this tab instead. All right. Can you guys all see that?
Yes. Well, I can. Speaking for myself.
Okay. Well, if one of you can, probably all you can. Welcome, welcome. I am going to... There we go. Okay. First, I've got some exciting metrics to share with you guys. We are up in enrollment to 110 actual human children. Very exciting time. I also learned from Tanya the other day that our imaginary children waiting, remember I thought it was 5, it's actually 12. So we are at 122 on the budget spreadsheet right now. So that is a good place to be. I also want to show you our dashboard. We had a fantastic auction, $4,214, among other things, led to our busting the bank at $16,477 so far. And we still haven't even done Jogathon or the plant sale. Very excited. Let's see, attendance is pretty static. The absences were a little lower and the tardies were the same. We had no suspensions this month. Staff is the same. Literacy scores are new. Can you guys see that okay? We did all of our mid-year testing with STAR and with Amplify. And from beginning of year, we had an increase of 7% in our at or above grade level readers. And we had a decrease in the below of 13%. And then the well below went up by 6%, which is kind of is par for the course. Mid-year testing with dibbles always has this dip. Like every year I've ever done dibbles with students, they always, like, everybody goes down. So the fact that anybody went up was pretty awesome. So no, nothing crazy about that. I did want, oh gosh, it's kind of a bad font color. All the upcoming dates. The one that I wanted to tell you about was the last one. Our lottery draw is going to be on the 31st of March this year. And we already have tons of interest. We have full classrooms already. I sent, maybe some of you even saw it, I sent the intent to return survey to families. I thought worked really well last year to be able to know, if people are planning to leave or if they're planning to stay. It really helps us with our numbers around lottery season, because then we know how many spaces we've got in the classrooms. We're also planning a kindergarten open house on the 18th of March. Mika's getting ready for that, and we're trying to do some promotion. I've got some flyers at the office. So if any of you know of a way to distribute promotional materials to people who have kinders, especially, let me know. Any questions about metrics? You can include compliments if you'd like. With my students, I always said questions, compliments, and comments. So they're all muted.
Sarah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I know there's the intent to return forms, and then there's the actual website from CSD that we all had to go and sign up for and go through that whole rigmarole.
Mm-hmm.
How early are we able to go ahead and send out that CSD website for families to go ahead and sign up
I
on?
believe August.
Oh,
Like,
we can't go. We can't
no,
send it out like in
so
April.
no, I don't think so. My understanding is that you have to close, like Synergy has to close on June 30th and then reopen on August 1st. So I can double check on that, but we weren't able to do it any earlier than that this year. But we had never done it before this year. And so I'm hoping that it'll be less of a drama this year.
Okay.
It seemed like it was pretty bad for parents.
Because I'm just thinking, I know last year we had phenomenal numbers. I don't think as good as what you were just talking about, but then it seemed like there were a lot of families who they maybe were on a few, like on lists for multiple schools, and then they no-showed.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, do we have any way of reducing the no-show rate? Even like, can we have them come drop school supplies off? Like,
I think we're all kind of wanting the same thing. And if you think of any great ideas, shoot them my way. But I think the culture seems to be to do that, where they just all lurk on everybody's waiting list and then they make their decision kind of last minute. We were thinking about trying to I don't know, kind of up our pressure, like our sales pitch a little bit with families and say, like if we call you and we say you've got a spot in kinder or whatever, you have 2 weeks to do this, or you have 1 week to do this, and then we're going to the next student on the list.
yeah.
It's a delicate balance because we don't want to scare anybody, but at the same time, it's really a pain to not know. And then meanwhile, you have the other people who are way farther up on the waiting list, and they might have said yes, but we haven't called them because we have
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Fear of loss is pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, let's give some of those families FOMO.
The nice thing about having those test scores to share with everybody, that's really been a bit of a game changer. We're less of a question mark. I think people are like, oh, okay, well, they really do good school there, and hopefully that's going to get them tipped over into our side. So last month we did our first Jedi cultural awareness staff training, and it went great. I think there was a little trepidation from some of the staff members about, what's the DEI training going to be like, and they all participated. And our speaker was Marcianne, coach from the district, and she did great, and she's anxious to come back and do another one. We spent a lot of time preparing for the winter auction. Our PTO is amazing, and they helped a lot. And so did our second grade teacher, Ms. Novak. She's apparently an auction guru, and she just showed up every day with more and more things from businesses to sell. So that was awesome. And so the BLM grant disappeared. It no longer exists, and because of reasons that are related to our president and some of the decisions that are being made there. So that is a sad missed opportunity. But the good news is that we still have a relationship with BLM, and they're still going to come out and do our tree planting. So you'll see that on the next slide. The staff stipend for SPED was submitted. There's still some questions about who qualifies for the stipend and how much the stipend will be. And I have a meeting next week. I think it's next week to talk to ODE about that. The guideline is that if any staff member spends 70, like a minimum 75% of their day teaching or assisting students who have a disability, so either on an IEP, a 504, or in the process of referral, then they get this extra stipend. And I have no idea how much it is going to be, if it's like $100 or like $500 or whatever, but they're really clear about that it goes straight into the hands of the person. There's no middleman. And so we did quick calculations on our end, and I believe every one of our staff members meets that criteria. And so we applied for everyone. And if they disagree, then they'll take some people off our list. But I don't know if you guys know this, but last year we had 11% of our population were on 504 or IEP or in process, 11%. And this year it's like 30%. We've got that, I was telling you about, it was like this urban legend that we had so many kids on caseload, and that we don't really have that many kids on caseload, but guess what? We actually now do. So that's why I made an argument that we could all get it. Kicked off our enrollment campaign. That was online campaign. So Facebook, Google, spend a little money on advertising there. We've got flyers. We're reaching out to preschools and daycares to get some excitement, some buzz. And we also did that. Well, it was I guess it was beginning of January. We did the homeschool postcard campaign as well. And we started our budget planning meetings. We've had 2 meetings so far, and I think we're going to try and have a couple more before we present budget. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I think that's a different agenda item. And I already told you about Star and Amplify, and we sent report cards home last week. So plans for this month. Some of these are already done. So we already did the auction. We are going to continue budget planning. And one thing that I did want to kind of show you, it's not very exciting necessarily, but I mean, I finding it nerdy exciting. So I'm going to try and show you. Hold on one second. All of our policies that you agreed to adopt. It's many, many pages. And so they came to me as 2 giant PDFs at first, which I posted just because I wanted to post them. But then they sent me all of them in their little bits and pieces. And I had to get them all organized and posted, and it took a year and a half. But now they're all on the website. And so if any of you are curious, community or board, staff, anybody are curious about what a specific policy says, it's quite a lot easier to figure that out than it was, because before I just had these like boom, boom, these 2 giant PDFs. I think the very top part is interesting for board and all the governance and complaint procedures and stuff. If you haven't had a chance to look at the large document that we've been reviewing for a year. Let's see, was that all I wanted to share with you guys? Oh, Read Across America and Spirit Week are going to be the first week of March. That's kind of known as like Dr. Seuss Week that week. And then Ms. Novak has taken that over as one of her projects with her class, and they are going to organize it all. They have a guest author coming in to do assemblies for all the kids. And I skipped some things. Sorry. We have 2 all school field trips planned this month. Discovery Days was just yesterday, and that was at OSU. It's kind of like their science programming, and the kids made Orbeez, and you probably have all heard about it. And then next Wednesday, we're all going to see Oliver at CHS. 2 of our students are in Oliver, and we got the email to say, would you like to come see a preview? It helps the kids have a practice audience. And then we said, can we all come? And they said, yeah, so we're all going to go. It's like the shortened program, so it's not the full 2.5 hours. It's like an hour, but it should be fun to see our friends up there and to get a little cultural exposure. And then the BLM tree planting party, I can't remember the exact date, but it's at the end of February. Hopefully the ground will be thawed enough by then. And Mika Van Galen has been spearheading that project with the getting the teachers coordinated, and they're doing some programming in their classrooms, and then they're all going to participate in the planting of the trees. And so some of that will be up on the playground, and some of that will be kind of back into the field area. It's been kind of a crazy couple of months for teachers, so I have not been my updates from classroom are not as detailed as they have been or will be, but this was our January update, and there's more detail, I think, if you can click on them and stuff if you're looking at the newsletter, but I just wanted to share that, and next month we'll be back with our more comprehensive descriptions. Questions, board members?
How's the staff doing? Solid
Well,
morale?
they're okay, but most of them are sick. We were like looking at how to manage all of our subs for today and tomorrow, and then with the snow, it ended up working out really well that everybody could get some extra sleeping time. But it's like a chorus of hacking and masks. If you didn't see the notice already, we did cancel school for tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Saw that like right before I hopped into here. 5-day weekend.
Oh my goodness. They're going to come back with vim and vigor like you don't even know. They're going to be so excited to teach kids and go on field trips.
My kids are going to be tired of me.
How could that be?
You guys are probably tired of me already.
Nope.
Oh, I forgot this is being recorded.
All right, well, that concludes my executive director update, unless you guys have anything else. All right, I'm going to reshare the agenda. If I can find it.
Oh, Sarah, this is a trivial thing,
Okay.
but one of my kids will be very bummed if I don't ask this. Are they going to have an opportunity to distribute their Valentines since school is closed tomorrow?
Well, this is a question I've been asked several times today. It's, of course, up to the teachers, but if they had a thing planned, I've told them they should just reschedule it.
Okay.
Okay, treasurers, you each got, I'm assuming that you got the budget stuff from Tanya. And a couple things. One is that they're requesting that we do a 2-year budget. So that's something that just came out. And so the budget committee will start looking at that. And the other thing is our CD at Keys Bank is up this month, and so I asked Tom. I didn't bring it to the board because that money's set there, so it just automatic rolled in for another 9 months. And Tanya and Garth were agreeable. So unless anybody disagrees with it, I have until the 18th to change our mind.
I mean, by upping it, say we need that money before it fully matures. There's no, like, we don't lose anything from the principal. We just don't get the interest, right?
Garth said it's very easy, and I think you pay some kind of a penalty. We're getting $400 a month, a little bit more than $400 a month. So I do believe it was worth rolling it over.
Yeah.
But when you think of March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November of next year, before, hopefully we don't need the money before then. But
cool.
Scrolling down at the budget, we're doing pretty well in most categories. And we've had a rough month. My husband's been in the hospital, so I've been off my game. But I do know that, going through each line item. There's only a few that we're way over, and some we haven't hardly spent anything. So I think we're doing okay, considering we're about halfway through the year when you think of salaries. I don't know what, Sarah, do you know when the PERS increase happens? Does it happen now?
I don't know. I feel like she said something about it mid-year, and it's
Yeah,
mid-year.
I'm not, I'll have to look that back up. I'm not 100%
In her-
sure.
In her email, I thought she said January 31st.
Oh, you do?
I believe so.
Okay.
That sort of sounds right. Yeah.
And, you know, that, I mean, we pay like 15,000 a month for PERS. So it's going to go up. And that's where it's hard to do a 2-year budget when you don't even know what some of those costs are going to be.
Little
Can I
low.
ask? Oh.
Hmm?
It's been a while since I've gotten Tanya's things, but I noticed for this last month, we had multiple invoices to CSD that were about $10,219. Do you know what that was for? That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, those were so part of the charter contract, we negotiated being able to have access to some of their systems at a lower cost. So when they have a buying power that we don't have, and they can get discounts that we don't have. So when we talk about like EduStaff and Frontline and some of these other programs that are prohibitive for us to buy on our own. So we're tagging onto their licenses. So the invoices are that they're any licenses that they paid on our behalf, and a few hours, staff hours that were required for setup and consultation. So those were expected.
Okay, because there was one for EduStaff for like 4,688, and then another for CSD just in general. So all of those are proprietary software that we're getting a discount on.
Yes, a deep discount. So and they are very helpful, and we
And is
love
that
them.
a yearly thing, or are we paying that every month?
It should be yearly.
Yearly.
Yeah.
So Jessica, did you not get this month the
No,
January?
I got all the back. I got all the back ones now.
And
So
you got January's.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so and I also saw we're paying Harmon Grid Technologies, which looks like it's IT, 625. Is that recurring, or is that?
What is it? Say it again.
There was a charge for Harmon Grid Technologies for IT for 625. Is that a recurring charge that we're paying, or it's like a one-off?
They're one-offs. So whatever I cannot manage through like myself and our IT package, then Brandon from Harmon Grid steps in, and he comes in maybe once a quarter to do some work, usually for a day. And then he kind of catches up on all of the fixing all the Chromebooks and checking on the security cameras and updating everybody's whatever and replacing batteries. So sometimes it's usually more like $2,000. So $615. I don't know why it was less, but
Okay, cool.
Everything adds up fast for sure.
Hmm.
That's all I have.
All right, Patrick, do you want to handle budget committee update, or do you want me to try?
I can speak on it, and then I'll go ahead and take notes. So we had budget meetings, and right now we're forecasting around an $80,000 shortfall for next year. If we are looking at basing the budget on 110 physical head count, and which would give us a weighted metric of 122. So Tanya feels fairly confident that we're going to see about a $600 ADMW increase, which has been forecasted. So with all that in there, we've got a few choices. Either and that's also going fairly bare bones with everything. So we've got a couple things. Either we go and increase headcount, if we can go ahead and magically find an extra 10 to 12 students, then pretty much all those budget concerns go away. But realistically, I think so. One thing we as a board talked about over the summer was reevaluating library midway through the year. And that's going to have to be one of the things that we're looking at for next year as
Reevaluating
well.
what?
Library.
Yes.
So,
Well, and I think
and
we have to reevaluate a lot of things, and so I think we probably want to wait to get into too many details until we've had a few more meetings. We're trying to do some scenarios and really look at a lot of what ifs. But I think that, to Patrick's point, I think the assumption from the board was that there was going to be an influx in like grant monies or contributions, and so far we've seen like none. So it's just
like it's just something like those it's and so Jessica, I don't know if you can go ahead and rally the music crowd to see, because I know last year we had like 10 or 11 raised to be able to go and support music, and that I don't know if we had any this year for music. If we're going to keep music as a paid position next year, we're going to need to find grants to go ahead and cover that. Otherwise, we're going to have to go and look pretty closely at music as well. And these are just kind of things I know. If anybody has grant experience, anybody has the ability to go and go online and look at grants. Right now, and I don't want to go ahead and look at the silver lining of our current political landscape, but I think the availability of private grants for things like library and music are probably going to be out there right now. So if anybody has the ability to really start looking at those, that can go ahead and be something that will help us next year if we can go and get ahead of that curve.
The other thing that we're doing in support of the budget committee conversations, we're going to do a couple of things. One is I've just done a survey of the staff to say, hey, if this is your decision to make, how would you utilize our budget? And I gave them some of, kind of suggestions that I had thought of or the committee had thought of, and then kind of an open space to share any other thoughts that they have. A lot of people hold on to great ideas. So I want to make sure, that I'm not prioritizing something that they don't care about or vice versa. And to just get their thoughts, because maybe there's a great idea out there, a kernel of something awesome. So we'll do that. And then I think the other thing that we're going to do as a leadership team is an exercise in, I guess it's a creative exercise where we're going to look at our school and say, hey, if we were starting from scratch and knowing everything that we know, how would we staff our school? Like, what do we need? And, what do those hours look like? And what does those duties look like? And just kind of a creative opening the box up a little bit instead of tweaking and tuning every single little thing. Let's look at what we need and see if we can come up with a staffing model that supports that. And so anyway, those we'll share with you once we have them. And I think it is obviously a kind of delicate conversations, and it can create a lot of anxiety among staff members and family members. So just know that we're thinking about everybody, and we're doing our best to be responsible and mindful, and we'll share that recommendation once we get through it. I think we're hoping for end of March, or maybe it's the first meeting in April. I can't remember what we decided.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts, pile of money anybody found?
How many exchange students are you getting, Lester? I put you down for 15.
They are actively recruiting now, and I feel like I will take as many as they will send, and maybe the bus will hold. I don't know. Anyway, but if last year they were going to send 10 and they said 12, so I'm more than okay with that if they can do that. I think we've got supportive families out there, and each one. If there's a rapid change in exchange rate, maybe we can even ask for more. But anyway, yeah.
Let's see if we can fill up the gym at the school.
Love it.
In the budget, did you guys factor in raises at all, or is it too early to even do that?
Well, right now we've got steps. So the pay
Mhm.
increases in schools are generally sort of a two-factor thing where you have the chart, which is the step. So every year you of experience you go up a step, and then on top of that, there's usually a cost of living increase.
Yeah.
And in Muddy Creek, the tradition has been like a 3% step and a 3% cola.
Mm.
So right off the bat, we said let's look at everything with a step and no cola. So that's what our current model is, and hopefully that'll be enough.
All right. Anyone else there? Okay, great. Thanks for working on that budget, everybody. Okay, Jessica, you have something from the CSD that you wanted to share, and
Yeah, I sent it and then re-forwarded it to y'all today, and it's just something that went out from CSD. Philomath did it, Ashland did it. I'm assuming most school districts in Oregon did it. And I have no way of putting it on your screen, but you
I'm
can
gonna
either
try and do that for you, Jessica. Hold
email
on.
or, and I even contacted Miss White Bear, who is, the CSD person, to say like, hey, do we fall under this anyway? Should we be sending this out? And basically it's like, yeah, I guess we do fall under this, but just seeing if you wanted to send this out as well. I know there are different parents that feel like this was very calming and optimistic to see their school send this to them. So, it's just a policy of, no matter what's going on in the federal government, we're still going to be a safe space. Every student belongs, as you can see, non-discrimination, student rights, immigration status, which is huge. Yeah, basically we're going to be Muddy Creek still and not change our policies. And then a nice resource thing for people who might need resources. Do you guys want to, it's now, 3-4 weeks after it was originally sent out to everybody else. Do you want to send something like this out as well? Many people won't care about it at all, but I feel like for some families it will be a good thing to stand up and say something. Any ideas? Any thoughts?
I support it, I think. And when I was talking to Ryan Noss at a meeting, he told me that Philomath used this language and they kind of just put their spin on it, and he was fine with that, and he's fine with us using this language and just kind of personalizing it to Muddy Creek. And it is, I think I sent you guys the email from ODE too. It was like, even though there are these changes at the federal level, Oregon still won't let ICE steal your children.
I think it's a good idea. I don't think we even need to vote on it, though.
Yeah.
Correct? But I support it, and if you need to vote, I will happily vote 5. But I don't think we need a vote.
I just asked Jessica to bring it to the board because I didn't want to send it just go rogue, and so she's doing that because I didn't feel comfortable sending it without your input. So if you guys just want to give me the thumbs up, that's totally fine too.
Yeah, Sarah, I agree with Patrick. I think you can just send it.
Any nays? Are we good? Thanks.
All
Jessica.
right. Thank you, Jessica. Okay. Board application for Alex Goldner. Thank you for applying, Alex. I meant to call you over the last several weeks, but anyway, one trip to Tucson sick, and some other stuff came up here. Some about 20 lambs. Later, here we are, and thanks for the application. And any questions that you have for us at the moment here?
No, it's been fun attending these meetings and sitting on my hands and looking at all the hard work that you do and wondering if I could be of some help. So yeah, I'm whatever questions you have for me.
Any questions for Alex from the board? And then we can vote to accept or reject his application.
I changed my screen name, by the way. It'll be my normal name, so I won't have any bias.
You have to
okay,
tell
we
us
all- we
which
all have
part of the
bias,
meeting was
inquisitors.
fun.
It's fascinating seeing how much work goes into, I just hadn't really thought about all the different facets. So it's really fascinating just learning. I have a lot to learn for sure, but Patrick was mentioning grant writing, and I work at OSU, so I have friends who have a lot of experience. One of my colleagues wrote a grant recently for our clinic, and so that's something, if I can, and maybe I'll talk to my friend who's a librarian, and I'm just thinking of ways I can maybe patchwork some of my talents and connections, and hopefully find something that could be helpful. So yeah, you're doing a lot of good work though, and I've appreciated kind of learning more.
Thank you.
I think there's probably nothing you can do to affect your kid's education more than joining the board here. I would like to move to invite Alex onto the board.
Second.
Alex, we vote, I think you've seen this, but we vote 1 through 5. I can't see anybody's screen here. Can you see them, Patrick?
No, I'm currently typing.
I
Okay.
think we're all 5 that
We're
show
all
up.
5s.
Yeah.
I can't
Five,
see
five.
Jackie.
Jackie's a 5.
Okay, great.
Enthusiastic 5s. Okay, welcome to the
five.
board, Alex.
Yay. Thanks.
Wonderful. I'll call you. What day is today? Thursday. I'll call you in the next 5 days or so and do a little bit of onboarding, and then we can talk. There is some training. Sarah's got some vector training that we can all do here that I think we talked about, and she'll send out as well. And then we've been working with OSBA and doing some fairly regular training sessions. And when I was talking with Kristen at OSBA, Oregon School Board Association, I broached the idea of having another training here in the next midterm period, and she said when we can just figure out about when we want to do it, and give her a call, and she'll put us on the docket. So the next training is more or less what we were doing the last time, just continuation where we're doing some team building and learning how to operate as a board in terms of best practices, which I think we're doing a lot better than we used to, but that maybe just my crazy head. Karen's been on the board longest. She can say yay or nay to that. But anyway.
And the
Sounds
vector
great.
training, just you saw in that letter I sent. So all the staff do it's through PACE, and we have these annual trainings that we complete. And while I was in there looking, I noticed that the board used to do them, and I haven't signed you up for 2 years. And so I was just talking to Lester about that and saying, well, let's see how it goes with Alex, and then we'll sign everybody up to do. It's just like confidentiality stuff and things that more really and mandatory reporting and things like that. So.
Right.
Look for my email.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Anything else? We're gonna jump back into executive session just to finish our discussion. Alex, you are on the board now, so technically you can join us. But you have no context for what we're talking about, so it's up to you.
Wait, can I just ask a quick question? What was that facilities, our land lease owner neighbor sent something about the facilities assessment, and you sent it to us, Sarah.
Oh, right. Thank you, Jessica.
We didn't
Oh,
talk
so
about that. We need to do anything?
sorry. Yeah, I don't really know. That's the first time that's crossed my path. So I think it looks like they're just doing kind of evaluation and an assessment of like an audit maybe of their buildings. This is Corvallis School District did, and they invited us to utilize their vendor, but it does cost. And Patrick asked me to try and get that cost, which I sent over, but I haven't gotten back. So I can get him back with more information. I just didn't know if it would be beneficial for us to know, specifically what our facilities need in terms of improvement. I think we all have a gut feeling, but it might be interesting to have a professional's idea.
I'm surprised they're doing it because they just did it before that $2 million bond. So maybe they're thinking another bond coming down the road.
Maybe a bond, or also when Medford's gym roof collapsed last week, maybe that got them.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So, okay. Anything else? This was a nice, quick meeting. Thanks for everybody for attending and being here. I think it's pretty much the board here now. Sarah, thank you. Get a good weekend. Don't get too many snowball fights.
I'm gonna eat all the Valentine's Day candy and just sit on the couch. It's good. You too. Do the same.
Board, do we want to just stay in here? Let's call the meeting, Patrick, at 7:47.
Well, we can't call it, right? We have to go ahead and move to public session, but we're still technically meeting.
Yeah. We're gonna end this public session at 7:47, and then we'll move into executive session. And then tech director is who?
Me.
Okay, Sarah, you can. If you leave, or do we lose our meeting?
Are you going to? You don't want to go back to the other meeting? You want to stay here?
We can do whatever's easiest.
Okay. Let me stop the stream, and then I'll leave, and you can. I think if I leave, it's going to be okay.
Okay. If not, we'll pop into the executive session one.
Okay.
Okay.
And if I drop out, then I'll look forward to meeting with you guys again soon.
Okay. Thank you, Alex.
But I'll stick around if I can, because I may as well try to learn and listen.